Welcome to Mimo in Andorra,
where two guys talk about
football
nonsense
and everything else in between.
With your hosts, Travis and Ricky.
Hey guys, back in again this week here, or I say this week, there is another episode that's actually coming that we're halfway through. Ricky and I recorded before Ricky's baby got the better of him and tonsillitis as well. Unfortunately, Ricky's not here again. He does still exist, I swear. But I am joined today again by Carlos of World Cup Fever. Thanks for coming along, Carlos, and standing in for Ricky again.
Hi, Travis. Thank you for the invitation and here to talk about the World Cup. Not only this one, but get some good memories like the last time.
Yeah. Well. Today's theme is I've got my Brazil shirt on. I've got this t-shirt is I won't show you the back of it because it's all falling apart at the back because I run in it. I go running in this t-shirt, but I got this in 2002, and this is it's made by Nike, and it's got the Ronaldo name on the back with the right font, with the font that they had in 2002 as well. So it's almost like a tribute top that they did for when Ronaldo got the 8 goals in Korea and Japan. But because we're going to talk South American football today, best person to have on the pod, obviously Carlos, our resident South American. But I want to talk a little bit about today about the chances of the South American teams, what maybe has gone wrong in recent times. Obviously, Argentina are the current holders, so not necessarily gone wrong for them in the last World Cup, but why we're in a position whereby we haven't had many South American winners in the last 20 years, and what their chances look like this time round. And I actually spent, and Carlos, I know obviously Carlos lives in Europe now, but I spent a bit of time today watching some of the qualifiers in South America because I didn't really see much. I saw a video of Uruguay against Colombia, the game in I think it was in Montevideo, when they won 3-2 in the last minute. I don't know if you saw that one. And that was the reason why I saw it, is because it was Colombia equalised with I think it was 90 plus 2 minutes, and then Uruguay take centre and go and score the winner in 90 plus 7 or something like that. And as a result, it's quite a big deal. But that was the only thing I'd seen at the time of the qualifying. But today I actually sat down. I thought, I'm going to sit down with you and talk qualifiers. So I was like, I better go and swat up and watch some games. So I watched a little bit of Ecuador because I know they had a really good qualifying campaign. I saw some of the Argentina games and a tiny bit of Brazil. So today we're going to talk qualifiers. We might even touch Peru as well. Obviously, Peru didn't make it this time round. You can tell us a bit more if you know what went wrong and sort of why they're not there. And Bolivia almost made it as well. Why Chile aren't there? Chile surprisingly came bottom of the group, I think. Which
we finish. We finished better than Chile, luckily. If not, we would have been a bit sad. But I don't remember who started in Chile as a trainer right now. But you know that Chile finished with with a trainer that was our trainer in the previous 2 World Cups. Yeah.
Oh, so the guy that got you to 2018. Yeah.
Exactly, Gareca. So he stayed 1 qualifiers more, but we lost against Australia in the playoffs. And so there was some problems between the federation and Gareca, therefore he didn't stay. Theoretically, the federation wanted that he stay, but they didn't agree on terms. And he left. Chile started quite bad, the qualifiers, and they thought that he will be the solution to their problems. But that was not, because
it wasn't.
I don't know. So he's a great trainer, but for example, before he was a trainer from Peru, he was trainer in the Peruvian league like at least more than 1 year, and he was champion in the Peruvian first division. Yeah. So what I mean with that, he knew before starting as the coach of our national team, he knew everything about how are our players, what they need psychologically, not only physically. So it's like here in South America, it's not only so important the tactical things, under the motivational stuff, the psychological things. So and you need to get well with the players. Then he went to Chile. If I'm not wrong, he was not trainer in Chile before in any Chilean team from the first division. So I think that was one of the things. He started bad and finished bad, but it would have been very, very expensive for the Chilean Federation to send him to break his contract. Yeah, and they were already out of the World Cup, so I think that therefore they stay there. And now Gareca is 2 times hero in Peru because he qualified us and he made Chile to finish in the bottom of the South American qualifiers.
Not only bottom, that saved you guys from finishing bottom as well. I mean, they got a pretty bad record, didn't they? I think they won 2. But Peru didn't win many this time around as well. Like Venezuela finished above you guys.
The team is, we didn't have new players in the team. The ones that brought us to 2018 and to the playoffs in the last World Cup were already too old, or if not retired. And to be honest, after 2018, our best players, instead of following a good or better career path, it was everything but the other way around. Yeah, they started to go to worse teams that they were. For example, Andre Carrillo, he was he was in the Premier League. Then he went to Saudi Arabia. After he played a very decent World Cup, he scored a goal and was probably the best player from our country. He went to Saudi Arabia, to Al Hilal, so a good team in Saudi Arabia, but we cannot compare with the Premier League. So people was expecting that he will go to a better team. And then we had Farfán, Guerrero. They were already old, 34, 35.
Yeah, they're too old,
Yeah, and then we didn't... I mean, we have a good group. Do you know who is Cristian Cueva?
The name rings a bell, but not very well.
Our number 10, he's, how can I explain? In a good day, he's great. He's great. He was probably our best player or the second best player in the qualifiers 2018. But mentally is not so strong, say like that. He's not so professional or something like that.
Right. Do you know what? Is he like Paul Gascoigne? Is it that sort of player? That's straight away. That's the first thing that springs to mind.
So maybe not as funny as Gascoigne, but if you mean about alcohol, so also not so bad, not so extreme.
Unprofessional off the pitch. Yeah, I'm just thinking of that. Like away from football, probably not the best.
Exactly. Exactly. He got also in his personal life, he got some problems. And, when you are not, when you have some problems outside football, at the end, you have problems inside the pitch. So he was in Sao Paulo, in Santos in Brazil, also in other teams. He went also to Saudi Arabia or Qatar, I'm not sure, but for the money. But he, in not other team, but in the national team, performed so well as he did it with us. Because even in 2022 in the qualifiers, he was quite good. We knew that was one of the players that you didn't worry about if he was playing well or bad in the club, because you knew he will come to our national team. He is the number 10. The trainer knows how to motivate him, and he will bring everything for the team. But well, he's still playing in a bad team in our first league, so we didn't have a 10 like him anymore. So we did he
play in these qualifiers, the 26 qualifiers as well?
probably in the very first games. I'm not sure, to be honest, because
Right, but by the end he wasn't playing in it, is what you're saying?
no, for sure not.
Oh,
I suppose
right.
because he was in Brazil. Yeah, it's already a while. Yeah, 2023. I don't remember. To be honest, I watch most of the games, but I already forgot most of the games. I remember we beat Uruguay. Where is we beat? I will need to check.
Let's have a look. I've got it here now. I've got you drew with Paraguay first game. Let's have a look. I'm looking for Peru. You lost to Brazil. You lost to Chile. God, that's not good.
We should have
Lost to
beat Bolivia
Venezuela.
or we beat Bolivia. Yeah, I remember. I was in Peru. Okay, I remember again because I traveled to Peru last year, and I watched a game in the Peruvian TV for qualifiers for the first time after 10 years, I think. And that day we won. I remember we beat, because at that time we had game against Bolivia in Peru, and afterwards Venezuela in Venezuela. That you will say, if we will have won those two games, we were again in the run to the run to win to qualify.
Was this in March last year? I'm just looking now.
Exactly.
I can see March. Yes, last year. We beat Bolivia 3-1 at home.
Yeah, that was a good game.
And then beat Venezuela away as well. Oh, so lost to Venezuela away.
We lost, so we got a new trainer, Oscar Ibanez. He was the third trainer when Gareca, the previous trainer, was there. So it's like, okay, we cannot bring back the other trainer, but we bring the third guy. Not the second trainer, but the third trainer, say like that. They brought him. He was not so successful in the Peruvian league, but he played for our national team as a goalkeeper. So he was with the group. So we got a very good game against Bolivia, 3-1, and against Venezuela, it was, I will say, robbery. They steal us. Yeah. We score a goal.
I can see Solomon Rondon scored. Rondon, is that the guy from the... Yeah.
As far as I remember, it was a penalty.
Penalty, yeah.
For me, it was not a penalty. We scored a goal, but was cancelled with VAR. I remember it was incredible because he do the goal. He was alone. He hit that, but somehow when he hit it can hear the ball, shoulder. Something like that was very difficult to decide. I think they were playing in Venezuela. Venezuela was close to their qualifications, so for me it was still. They still at the game. I remember it. I see both. I see both games in Peru, and I was not. Yeah. I remember I was so angry after that game. I think I didn't watch the following 3-4 games. I think we got 4 games more, but it was already not mathematically, but was impossible.
You'd have to win them all. Yeah.
Exactly. At least I got the taste to see two important qualifiers game in my country again. So with all what that means, that TV, the atmosphere with my family, that was at least we won one. Yeah. At least I was there.
Okay.
In that game we won.
And then look, I mean, did you see any games outside of Peru? Did you manage to catch many of the games in the South American qualifiers outside?
Not
of Peru?
really. I remember trying to watch some Argentina games when they were before, especially when normally Peru is 2 hours behind Argentina and Brazil. So normally
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, when Peru,
I suppose,
was
you're right
playing
out on the west coast, aren't you? Right, yeah, of South
exactly.
America, yeah.
Then when Peru was playing at home, we were always the very last game. Yeah. So if Argentina was playing before, I tried to check the second time or something like that. If Messi was playing, just to check to the last games from him. Yeah. But to be honest, I don't remember much more from these qualifiers. Yeah? It's probably the qualifier from South America that I saw the less in my life. Yeah.
Really. But it's obviously probably really hard for you because obviously in Germany you're an hour ahead of us for a start, which means that South America, how many hours behind you are they? When
Peru
you're in Germany?
7.
7 hours. Yeah, that's really hard to watch a game, isn't it?
A game from Peru at home, 3 or 4 a.m. here. It depends on the time of the year.
Oh, God.
So it was hard. But I did it for 2018. I did it most of the games. For 2022, the same. And for this, after the first games, not that much. But I was still following and checking if we were 2-0 down. I went to sleep again, something like that. So yeah, it
Sounds
was.
Like me. Sounds like me with West Ham.
Yeah, it probably the most depressing qualifiers that I have seen in. Because we normally we don't qualify, but most of the time we fight really with real chances, say like that, until 2-3 games until before dying, at least.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you did very well out there. Like you finished a point ahead of Chile, who I was very surprised were bottom. Venezuela was 6 clear of you.
I mean, Travis, if we only have chances to qualify because of this 48 teams World Cup, yeah? Because if this would have been a normal qualifier,
it would have gone down to 5, right? Wouldn't it go down to 5?
Exactly. We would have been out much earlier. So therefore, it was the only reason that I found good that this 48 teams World Cup, because we get some chances until the end. So let's see.
Yeah, I was just going to say I've got family links to Venezuela. Some of my family, I believe, have were either born there or lived there or someone along those lines have got like some links. Not that I've watched Venezuela play in years. I said my mum's side of the family are from Grenada, and my dad is Antiguan. So like I watched a tiny bit of the CONCACAF qualifiers, but by the time I watched the CONCACAF qualifiers, both Grenada and Antigua were knocked out, because they only do like Antigua I think got knocked out in like the playoff round, and then Grenada got through to a group but finished behind Trinidad on goal difference, I think it was. Like, it's even worse for me. I've got no, like, I watch England. Bolivia, obviously, I know they're obviously strong at home. I don't know if you saw, Ricky and I were joking around talking about the altitude in Bolivia and the fact that they do well at home. I think they won, looking at it, they beat Ecuador at home, Peru at home, Chile at home. They won a few games at home. I think they won 6 games, and of the 6 games they won, I think 5 of them at home. They beat they beat Ecuador at home, Venezuela at home, Brazil at home, Chile, and Peru, which says like a lot for the fact that
they only beat Chile away. If you see the results,
the only win they had away was Chile. Yeah,
I mean, this for me was the weakest Bolivian team in many years. Normally they are weak, but this was like very weak. Yeah. Well, Peru and Chile were very bad. Venezuela was apparently qualifying or getting at least this place to the playoff. But what happened with Bolivia? Bolivia, anyway, always win 5 or 6 games at home. Yeah.
Because of the altitude.
Then, therefore, at least until 3-4 games until the end, they have some chances. It depends on how is the fixture. Yeah, fixture. But this was very weak. Also, they got the most goals, 35 goals in 18 games.
Yes.
I see 6-0, 4-0. It was a very weak team. I remember when we qualified, so to the 2018, one of the decisive games at the end was against Bolivia at home. Yeah, we both have chances. Peru was better than Bolivia. We beat them 2-1, and Bolivia had like 2 chances to get that 2-2 in the last 5 minutes. So that was the best Peru, say like that. And Bolivia so outside Bolivia, they were close to get a point from us in one of the last games from the
Mhm,
qualifiers. Yeah, and now so we beat them with our worst team in years. Yeah, so of course we lost in La Paz, but yeah, that's normal also with good teams as
I think I remember
mentioned.
saying this before, and forgive me because I know Peru isn't like Peru's got a little bit of altitude, has it not? But
Yes.
but it's nowhere near like La Paz though. That's the problem, isn't it? La Paz is just
No,
so
we
much
have
higher.
places. We have places like La Paz, but the capital, so Lima, is we have beach is on have no altitude. Is next to the beach.
Right. Okay, so it's sea level. Yeah.
Exactly, sea level, and we have places from our first division tournament that are, Machu Picchu, yeah, the team that
Yes.
plays in Cusco is not exactly, is very close to Machu Picchu. Then you play with more than 3,000 meters. Then we have also Arequipa, the second biggest city in Peru, and you play with 2,500. And we say, and there was a team some years ago in the 19s that played more than 4,200 meters, and they stay in the first division just because, like Bolivia, they lost away, but they won.
Win at home.
They won at home most of their games, and they stay like 10 years, I think. And that is very famous because one of the teams, Universitario, say like one of the three big clubs here, they were away some years, not like Arsenal, but 5-6 years without winning a championship. And the day that they were close to win, that they needed to win to secure the first division from Peru after these 5-6 years, was in a game in Cerro de Pasco. So Cerro de Pasco is a city, so more than 4,000 meters. And they won, if I'm not wrong, 2-1 with a late goal, or was from a player from Argentina that are not accustomed to this altitude. But he started from their own side. Yeah. So he ran 3/4 of the pitch and scored a goal. And it's very famous, that image, because he went to celebrate. What he did, he asked for oxygen. So he's celebrating with the oxygen mask, God. With the oxygen mask in the face. Oh that is one from my memories from when I was a teenager, because that was probably around 2000, something like that. Yeah, this the goal. You notice that he's very happy. Flight?
Are these teams not
anymore.
Flight? No,
not anymore. At some point, they did it really bad, and they went down and didn't came back. They still exist, but not close to come back to the first division.
The Peruvian equivalent of Stoke. Do you know anything about Stoke in England?
I know that was a team from Tony Pulis some years ago.
Right.
Yeah. So they, I know that they have a style of playing. Like flank, how do you say?
It's in England we call it route one, direct, where you just knock long balls. And Stoke had a guy that would take long throws. Rory Delap.
That's what I wanted to say.
Really long throw. Yeah,
he was an Irish guy. Who was?
Yeah, that's right. Rory Delap.
Rory Delap.
And he would take long throws. And people. So as I said, I'm a West Ham season ticket holder, and when Stoke were at their height, I remember we played Stoke at home, and they would put out extra advertising boards around the side to stop him from being able to take a run up, just for that game, and everyone was scared of Stoke. And then, but in England, Stoke had their time of being like that, and then before Stoke, you had Bolton. Do you remember Bolton? With Sam Allardyce
and Wonders.
With Djurkaeff and Stelias, Giannakopoulos and Okocha and all of those guys. And Bolton were like that. And then before Bolton, there was Wimbledon. Do you remember Wimbledon? That might be a little bit before your time. They beat Liverpool in the
tennis,
FA. Yes.
Like Wimbledon. Yeah, that was the team from Vinnie Jones, right?
Yes, Vinnie Jones. Yes,
they managed to reach at least one FA Cup final.
They won the FA Cup, 1988.
They won it, right?
They beat Liverpool. They beat Liverpool with all of the, Kenny Dalglish's Liverpool, with all of the stars.
Yeah. I think I saw a video from that final some years ago. Yeah, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the goalkeeper he saves a penalty. The first goalkeeper to save a penalty in the FA Cup final.
How was the name of the
Dave Besant.
Besant, yeah. He was in the
he
national
was in the
team
England-
from a Euro or something like that.
Yes, he was in Euro 88 and 1990. He was the reserve goalkeeper in 1990. He was behind, so in 1990 it was Shilton, Seaman and Besant, I think. No, it was Shilton, Woods, and then Besant, and then Besant got injured, and then Seaman had to go out there. I think, or something like that.
The other way around.
The other way around.
Seaman
Yeah,
got,
the other way around.
Seaman got
Injured,
injured.
and then Besant.
Yeah.
And then Besant, yeah, that's I know it's something like that. Yeah.
Okay,
but anyway, yeah. So, but back to what we were saying, though.
I wanted to add something to this Stoke thing. They don't. So that trainer, but that was a thing of the trainer. You have Roddy Delap, but you also have Peter Crouch to take.
Yes,
So Stoke
Peter
also
Crouch
have
with the head.
Peter Crouch to take advantage from those
And-
throw-ins from Delap, right?
And do you remember they had Shaqiri? They had
Owen.
Arnautovic,
Michael Owen at some point played there with Crouch, right?
Bojan Krkic from Barcelona. Do you remember
Bojan
him?
Krkic also,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because they were in Europe. I think they qualified for the UEFA Cup or the Europa League at one point.
Yeah,
Because they were it was effective. But like the team that you talked about in Peru, like after a while, people worked out how to play them. And then, you get relegated and they've never been back anywhere near. And the reason why I mentioned Stoke was because on top of the direct football and the long throws, their ground is like a really weird, it's got like, it's like an English, like in England, it only really seems to happen in England. We have stands where there's no corner in the stand. Like you have a stand behind the goal, one at the side, and there's a gap. Well, where they are, it's on a motorway. I don't know if have you ever been to England? Have you been to England before? Like around
for
England?
sure.
But have you been
Yeah,
outside of London? Outside of London?
No, I have been in London like 4 times. I have seen England in Wembley against Slovenia. I have seen the Emirates Stadium, Old Trafford, Goodison Park, the old one.
All right. Yeah, I've
I
been
managed
to
to see.
How did you get to Goodison Park? Did you drive or did you train or?
So I went to Liverpool Stadium at the beginning. I made a tour. I was one day in Liverpool, and then I say, okay, now I will just go to Goodison Park.
Oh,
And
it's
I
around the corner, yeah.
Yeah, and I found that there was no tour. Yeah. And since I am South America, I try to use my charm to convince the bodyguard. I say, hey, I'm coming from very long, I don't know how I manage. I talked with them and he told me, okay, just go. And how I enter in the ground? You have this tribune behind the goal. And on one side, as you mentioned, there was nothing. So I entered through the corner on the side, and I entered there. I just took some photos. I didn't did a proper tour, but I managed to go to the pitch also.
So,
and
if you drive, the reason why I ask how you got there is because if you drive to Liverpool from or Manchester from London, you go down a motorway called the M6, or you have to go up a motorway. And on the way to the M6, I think it's on the A50, you go past Stoke's ground. Right, and you always see it. If you're going up that way, you always drive past the Britannia Stadium, or it's now called the Bet365 or something. And it is it's famous because it's really windy. It's really windy, and the sides seem to generate this wind. Like, do you remember Asimir Begovic scored a goal once? The goalkeeper. He's Bosnian goalkeeper.
I remember he was very, very tall from Bosnia,
Yeah, Bosnian goalkeeper. And he scored because the wind in Stoke is really, and it plays into it. It's all part of the long throws and everything. The wind is really strong. So you couple that with that. The weather's never nice. So there's a stereotype in England. People always say, oh, can you do it on a wet, windy night in Stoke? Because it's like the stereotype is it's windy, it's cold, it's horrible, and that's the test of a good player or a strong player is whether they can actually produce in that situation. And for years, people couldn't. So, like going back to what we were saying about that team in Peru, they were the equivalent of like a Stoke over here, really, in the altitude. You just need an oxygen mask.
I knew how Stoke played. But I didn't know these other factors.
Yes. There's loads of things in it. Yeah. But now it doesn't work. Now they're in the league, the championship, and they're not doing particularly well. So it's like they had their time and people worked out how to play them. Anyway, moving on though. So the next team up from Bolivia was Paraguay. Now, Paraguay is interesting because obviously they qualified for their first World Cup since 2010. Am I right in saying that? 2010 was the last time they were there.
Yes.
And they got to
exactly. First
quarterfinals in
time
2010, didn't they? Quarterfinals, they got knocked out by Spain.
They lost against Spain. You remember they
1-0?
they have a penalty some minutes when the game was 0-0.
Oh, I
Like
don't remember that.
like how it was. I'm trying to remember. Spain got a penalty and they miss it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if what David
Was it
Villa or
Xabi
who, but
Alonso?
they
Was it Xabi Alonso that took it, or?
could be Xabi Alonso. Yeah. I don't remember
Yeah.
who exactly, but missed the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got a penalty and Casillas saved it.
Saved it, yes. I kind of can't remember.
And
It's coming back to me
then
now.
I think it was David Villa. Should have been Villa, yeah.
David Villa scored,
David Villa,
yeah.
who scored the goal. But they were very, very close. And I mean, at this time, I don't know if you remember France 98.
Yes,
Paraguay,
yes.
that team.
Chilavert. And they were in the group
Exactly.
with South Africa and Bulgaria, South Africa, Bulgaria, Paraguay, and no, not South Africa. Sorry, Nigeria, Bulgaria, Paraguay, and Spain.
Exactly. So then they have probably, or for not probably, for sure, the best defense in South America. They had Chilabert. They have Carlos Gamarra. You know Gamarra?
Carlos Gamarra, the centre back. Yes, of course. Yeah,
exactly. So he was fantastic for me. One of the greatest South American defender of all time. He didn't prove it in Europe. I think he stayed probably too long in Brazil, but then in Brazil he's an idol. Yeah. Celso Ayala. He won Libertadores with River Plate. Then he played in Betis, Europe. I don't know, but that center back duo. I mean, Gamarra was never getting a yellow and never committing a foul, but was strong and he knew how to play. Ayala was a good complement because he was like very strong and like the voice there and imposing some fear in the strikers. But on the side, they also have Francisco Arce. I don't know if you should remember him because of the free kick on the free kick against South Africa in 2002. But he's also an idol in Brazil. He played. I think he didn't play in Europe.
So, am I right in saying? Sorry, in 2002, did they get to the round of 16 in 2002?
Yeah, too.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
exactly. There was, the only weak in that defense was the right back that I think was Dennis Caniza. But well, was a good one. But the other three were outstanding. Gamarra, Ayala, Arce plus Chilabert in one team. Paraguay was very strong, therefore they got a 0-0 against Spain, also 0-0 against Bulgaria.
And a 0 against Bulgaria in the first game. And then
exactly.
And then what did they do against Nigeria? Did they lose to Nigeria?
3-1. They won. They needed to beat Nigeria to qualify, and they did it.
Oh, they did it, but they didn't qualify though. Right?
No, Paraguay
they did qualify because they knocked out by France. France with the golden goal. Of course they did. Yeah,
exactly. And why they reached this golden goal
because
point?
Spain were knocked out. Spain were the one that were eliminated. That's right. Yeah.
That game against Spain, I mean, I still remember watching it, and there is a save from Chilavert that is fantastic against Raúl. I think it's very underrated because it's not shown in very resumes or something like that.
I don't remember it.
But it's not so spectacular. But if you see it, it was almost impossible or just reflects how he saved it against Raúl 4 meters before the goal. And it finished 0-0 with that save. It was not the only good save, but the best save that day. It's very underrated, but Spain had chances. So the defense from Paraguay did a good job. Spain had chances, and when they got the chances, Chilavert was there and they couldn't score. It was a great game because you remember Spain lost against Nigeria.
Paraguay.
Exactly. Paraguay got a point against Bulgaria, and they know if we got us a point against Spain, we depends on us to qualify against Nigeria. I think Nigeria played before against Bulgaria, and they have already qualified for the second round
Because they've beaten
because they
Spain in
won.
their first game. Yeah.
So Paraguay knew I don't need to win here. I don't need to win today. I need to win against Nigeria, and I need a point here. And it was like a similar game like against France. Yeah, I mean it was. I like it against from Paraguay, even if they were 0-0. My point was they got always a tradition of having a very strong defense.
Right.
Gamarra played until 2006, I think. Then they got another great defender, Paulo da Silva. He played in Mexico mostly, but he didn't make in Europe. But Paraguay, you knew they have always a very strong defense. And they managed to have some good strikers like Roque Santa Cruz.
Roque Santa Cruz.
And
Who
this
was the other
Oscar
one? There's
Cardoso.
another one. Is it Cardoso? There was another guy that I'm trying to think of that he played in. I can't think of it now. Because I know, obviously, Santa Cruz is the one. Was Santa Cruz at Bayern Munich, wasn't he, before?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. It was at Bayern Munich. Then he went to Blackburn and stuff, yeah. I'm trying to think of, there's another, maybe it's the Cardoso that I'm thinking of. That
Cardoso, the one that missed the penalty. They got these two strikers from after 98, yeah. You have Jose Cardoso, but from 98 and 2002, I'm not sure if he played, but in 2010 it was Oscar Cardoso.
Oscar Cardoso, yeah.
The one that played in Benfica a long time. And he missed the penalty against Casillas. But yeah, they managed to get some good strikers or offensive midfielder from time to time, but the defense was always the strong part from Paraguay team.
It's interesting that you say that, because if you look at the them and Argentina conceded 10 goals. Only Ecuador conceded less goals in that qualifying campaign.
Yes.
So they've obviously got a strong. I know nothing about Paraguay this time around.
I mean,
but from the looks of it, they didn't concede many.
As I mentioned at the beginning, I followed the qualifiers. After that, not so much. But I knew we need to qualify. We need to beat Paraguay, Bolivia, Chile, and Venezuela. It was clear. And Paraguay started very bad. Although they started very bad, it's like when Peru played bad, we lost everything. We lost all games at home and away. Paraguay playing bad, they can get some points. And that's what it happened. So it's like they started bad, but they got some points. Yeah. More than us at least. And at some point they changed the trainer for an Argentinian one. And then it was the trainer that qualified Ecuador to Qatar 2022.
Oh, right.
He's very experienced. Also in South America, he also
Who is it? What's his name?
Gustavo Alfaro. So after with him, Paraguay was other. So he managed to Paraguay had not stars like before. Before they always have, say like that for South America, a couple of stars. They have now good players and some players that play in Brazil. Their star is Gustavo Gomez. You can say Gustavo Gomez is the defender that continues this tradition of Gamarra, Ayala, Paulo da Silva. He's an idol in Palmeiras in Brazil.
Right.
I mean, Brazil nowadays pays quite good salaries, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't go to a really big club in Europe, they don't have a reason to leave. So I don't know. I think he will stay. He's almost 30, if I'm not wrong. And they have some players more in the Brazilian league, so are not like before that they have more people in Europe, but they have some people in Brazil. So I was checking the group that they have, yeah. And
so
I can say
Americas. Is it America, Paraguay,
exactly.
Australia, and who's the other one? America, Paraguay, Australia, and No. Turkey.
First game is against USA. Second game is against Turkey, and the third game, let me check.
Is Australia? Will be Australia.
Australia, yeah, like Peru, yeah. Because here, my prediction will be they get a point against United States. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they will get against Turkey because Turkey's say like that they have a very good team, or they have the
Mhm.
right mentality this time. It's difficult to know, but the potential is quite good in Turkey this time. But I will say
Mhm.
that Paraguay will qualify in the very last game against Australia. No, they will
I wouldn't
manage
be
to get
surprised.
at least a point in one of the two first games, and then they will beat Australia. I mean, they have something, you know, in general, Paraguay, so you say, I don't know, because Argentina football club. So the literal name from what I wanted to say, it was like the Lions have their
Clause.
close, yeah, but you translate that to football. You say when a team had close, yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
like they don't give up until the end.
City.
Say like that, tenacity or something like that.
Yeah.
And Argentina and Uruguay are known for that. But I will
Yes.
also add Paraguay, just in a one step below. But they also have that, and I can prove it with this game against France, with France 98, but also in
When they hung on.
2002. In 2002, they needed to beat Slovenia to qualify by
Mhm.
2 goals. They started losing 1-0. They beat them 3-1 against Slovenia, and they qualify to the second round of 2002. That's what
Yeah.
it's called in Spanish in football as a concept, like garras or the claw. That's literal.
Oh, okay.
Paraguay have that. 98 they qualify, 2002 they qualify, 2006 they were quite unlucky because
Yes, they're in
they
England's
they
group, obviously. They did well. I thought they did well
exactly
against
they
England in their
have
first game.
they have a good team, but why they were unlucky? Against England they lost with an own
An
goal.
own goal very early in the game.
Exactly.
What did they do against so they better played England first, then Sweden second game?
They lost in the last minute with a goal from Freddie Ljungberg. It was really the
Oh,
very
right,
last
okay.
minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Then they
And
beat
then
Trinidad and
Trinidad.
Tobago 2-0. But I mean, if you say they didn't qualify, it's bad result, but it was a bit, and they were a bit unlucky, say like that. If
Right.
they would have get the point against Sweden, they would have qualified. And it was just in the very last minute.
Because obviously by that point they're out, aren't they? Because obviously Sweden had drawn their first game 0-0 with Trinidad.
Exactly.
And then if they beat Paraguay, so then Paraguay can't get 4 points by that point. Yeah, so they're already out after 2 games. Yeah, so it would have killed
Yes.
it. Moving up the table in order. In Europe, everybody, and I'm sure probably in South America people do this as well, people just assume that Brazil will be good at a World Cup. Now, I am saying, because they lost, I watched today the game they played Argentina. When they played Argentina at home, they were very unlucky. I don't know if you've seen that, but they had a lot of chances, and then Otamendi scores a header from a corner, and they win 1-0 basically. And I know they went to Argentina, got beaten 4-1, and they lost a few more games here and there. So they're not the Brazil that everybody thinks they're going to be. But do you think they're going to be any good? Do you think?
I mean, for Brazil, you cannot count the qualifiers because normally not. Normally not, because why? Because they know they will qualify somehow. So especially this one, yeah. Before they knew they will qualify somehow. For example, in 2002 they were almost out.
Yes, I remember.
What happened?
Do you know,
they won
do you
the
remember,
tournament.
Sorry, on 2002, I remember them losing to Honduras in the Copa America 2001.
Exactly. Yeah.
And everyone's saying they were terrible.
Yeah. But it's like in the qualifiers, it's difficult to play good football, night football, because either you go to Bolivia or you go to Ecuador, that is also altitude. It's not so easy to play good football, and you will also lose as in away games, you will also lose with teams that probably are not better than you, but because there are some advantages in South America, even
Of being
either
at
the
home.
altitude or or the weather or even the people. It's quite difficult. Yeah,
Intimidating. Is it intimidating? Is that the air?
exactly. And also, yeah, there is a lot of pressure because for Brazil is they should win every game in South America. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for the press, but then it doesn't count for me too much. It depends more how many good players they have for the World Cup, if they have a good trainer or not, because the trainer will have this month now, and Ancelotti have some time because they qualify already. He went in the last 5-6 games. I don't remember exactly. He have the time to know the players and now have the time to prepare the team. And have you seen you saw, of course, that Neymar was nominated, but
Yes, he was
you saw
picked.
all the show around the nomination of players from the World Cup?
Yes, I thought that was quite interesting because is it Yao Pedro didn't get
Exactly.
selected and his
But
family
it
were
was
there, and I was like, oh,
this time they made like a national event. Yeah, they put it on TV. They say that it was everything calculated to maximize the earnings of the federation during this event, because it really normally I find it great what they did. It was really in all social media for this time what exactly what people need. I think that many will follow this for years to come, but they make it in a big, not in a normal press conference room, but
no.
there was in a museum, and they don't only call the normal media of football. They also call a lot of influencers and also important people from the society or the society, say like the people that is presenting TV shows, influencers that everyone, even if you are not a football influencer, you know about football if you are Brazilian, or you need to talk at some point. Therefore, they invite all these people. And Ancelotti came to Brazil and he didn't nominate Neymar for any friendly game
of the
or
qualifiers.
qualifier
Yeah,
game.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and he always said, I will take him to the World Cup if he's good physically, because technically I know what he can do for the team. But yeah, and Neymar, some weeks he have small injuries. They say now he's a bit injured. They never take Neymar for a game. Now I think it was a good decision because he preserved Neymar, because another team in South America will just go and kick Neymar.
Yeah.
It was too risky and Brazil didn't need it. Yeah.
Do you reckon they'll play him much then? You think they'll play him more? Or he'll come off the bench?
No. Neymar is playing in Santos in their team.
No, but I'm saying in the World Cup, do you think Brazil will start Neymar?
I think the first question, if it's Neymar, will be 100% fit physically. If he will be 100%, I think he will start. Yeah. If he had small injuries and didn't arrive to the World Cup like 100%, he doesn't need to start in the first games. Brazil will qualify, but with this, it depends, as I mentioned, how Neymar arrives to the tournament. If he have physical problems, Ancelotti will not risk him.
Yeah, because you're looking. You've got obviously you've got Vinicius Junior. Did Rodrigo go? Is Rodrigo there as well?
No, he's injured.
Is he injured? Endrick is there.
He and Estevao both are injured. So probably if both would have not been injured, who knows? Probably Neymar would have also gone, but yeah, who knows? Endrick will have not been nominated for sure.
Maybe, yeah, but he's been really good though. He has a really good at Lyon, isn't he? The second half of the season at Lyon, he was really good.
He made the right decision to go there.
Yes, to go there. Yep.
And you know, I used to watch some news from Brazil about football, and he's probably after Neymar the most loved football player in Brazil. Yeah, more than Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior is not as charismatic as him.
Right.
But I mean, if you see the video of the nomination, there is a small peak when they nominate Hendrik, because it was not sure that he will go. As you say, Joao Pedro could have been there. But when Neymar was named, the peak is very high.
It must have been crazy.
It's like more than 30 seconds, people like cheering, and Ancelotti needing to wait in order to continue the name of the other players. But I mean, it's quite good. I think Hendrik, every time that played, a few minutes that played with Brazil, did it very well, scored goals.
Scored at Wembley.
Yes. And every time that he had a chance, he did something. You notice he's someone. I mean, I think even in Real Madrid, he didn't did bad. I don't know what was expecting Real Madrid, but if you consider how old is him and
I know that's. I mean, it's hard to go to Real Madrid so young.
And he scored some goals, but he scored some goals. I remember, yeah.
Yeah,
I think he did the best, but in Brazil, his love in Brazil, and every time that he enters, he have the confidence. He have shown already. Also at youth levels, he won something, not the World Cup, but something important. I remember he have already won something with Palmeiras, playing as a starter. Yeah, so it's something different, because one of the things that I don't know if you will understand, but I will try to explain you. So there is a difference when you start in general in South America. Let's make it specifically for Brazil. If you start in a team, you win something or you get noticed playing in the Brazilian league and being important for a big team. But then at least you have the support from the supporters of that team. Yeah. And Hendrik was at least 1.5 years started in Palmeiras. So he have a good back, say like that, from supporters.
Right, backing,
following.
Following.
Joe Pedro not. Yeah. Even Vinicius, I remember he played 1 year in Flamengo, but I think he didn't go nothing. Yeah. And then, yeah. But when they play at least a while in your league and being important, it's like it feels different. And when someone was good outside, and that's one of the things that maybe, I don't know if miss Messi at the beginning, because they just play
because he didn't
before
play in
they
Argentina.
won.
He never played in Argentina. Everyone used to say that. Yeah,
exactly. From one side, he didn't have the hate because if he would have played in River, he would have been hated by Boca Juniors, something like that. But wait, so it's not so easy to make that connection. But Messi was the best of the world. You identify easy with him that with Joao Pedro, for example, that makes goal in Chelsea but didn't make any important goal from Brazil. So why would you take Joao Pedro I think in the head of a Brazilian fan? Why would you take Joao Pedro that you never see him winning a first league from Brazil with either your team or your rival team, and you bring, instead of bringing Neymar, that is the best Brazilian player in the last 20 years, probably. So 20 years. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Why you will that? Why would you like that? And that's something that in the last year, when players started to went to Europe so young, there were people, the fans are like suffering of missing identification, because if you see a team, your national team is playing with most of the players that were grown and developed or were only stars in Europe but never in Brazil, it's not so easy to identify yourself by. Even if he's from the rival team, you have a reason to watch the game. You know, no, okay, yes. I hate him, but he was from the rival team. But when he scored, they was there is something that I heard a couple of years ago about the Brazilian national team that they say these players now have changed a bit because the World Cup is so close, because this team from Neymar, and because they brought Ancelotti, the fans were lacking of identification with the national team from this thing.
Right.
And I remember I heard one person from the media saying, these people that is playing for us is not part of the Brazilian society, because Romario could have played away, but he was always in Carnival and he played many years in Brazil.
In Brazil
But
before
they
he went out
say,
there, yeah?
exactly, they say most of the players here are not part of our normal society life, because at least before, the only stars were the football players. You have the politicians and everything, and the stars on the media were the football players. But what you can start with the same example of Joao Pedro, that can be quite good, but never score goals for any big team in Brazil. No important goal for Brazil. He played for Chelsea, even not for Real Madrid or Barcelona. It will be easy to you say, okay, I watch Barcelona games, I watch Real Madrid games.
But you
People
don't watch. He was at
Chelsea games.
Watford before, wasn't he? He was at Watford, and
Yes,
people were like,
exactly.
yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. So it's harder to identify with him because I don't watch as much of him, and yeah, he just hasn't taken on the, so probably an easy choice for Ancelotti to make then, right? To not necessarily take João Pedro. I'm just going to say on Brazil that you think that. And you make a good point about the fact that they have had bad qualifiers before. I think that Brazil, like South American teams, not just Brazil, the footballers caught up with them. Like European footballers, where most of the players go to. And I think the reason why you haven't had as many strong South American teams in the World Cup and winners is because nowadays football is very European centric. Like everybody comes to Europe, everybody plays European styles, and as a result, the South Americans sometimes struggle with the intensity of the European football players.
Not only that, I want to add a point before you move to other reason. What I heard that I think is a good point and valid point. Like now, before in South America, every country just play their style, and the very good ones, if you were Brazilian, of course, much more than if you were from Paraguay or from Peru. But every country just was playing their style. Now, in Brazil, in Argentina, the clubs develop a player in order to be able to sell them to Europe.
Yes.
What means that they must fulfill some statistics. Yeah. And all the classic South American style of football is very far from that. I mean, a Ronaldo doing their dribblings or something like that, the Ronaldo phenomenon or Ronaldinho, people before, like you or me or many more, that will watch a game will know, okay, this guy was great. I don't know if he had a pass accuracy of 95% like Toni Kroos or something like that. I don't know the effectivity, but you knew this guy terrified the opponents. Yeah. And that was not because he didn't miss a pass, but because of the great pass that no one saw it, and he did it, or because he did a tunnel, or because he went through 2 or 3 defenders. Yeah. But I have heard, so it's like now South America try to develop players to sell to Europe. It's like selling your soul.
So you're just trying to make numbers. You're just trying to hit the numbers, not worry about an identity or a style or anything like that. You're just trying to basically produce a player that, I don't know, Brentford will look at, like Thiago. Brentford will look at and go, do you know what? We'll pay a lot of money for him because he meets our numbers in terms of running, like you say, in terms of pass accuracy. And he might not necessarily have that DNA and as a result, the national team misses out.
Exactly. Because, I mean, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Romario before, even Garrincha or that stuff. Other thing what they say, or Maradona to mention Argentina too. they didn't learn to play in a football club, or they learn to play in the
In
streets.
the streets. Yeah.
And they learn to playing every day, 8 hours a day, or all the free time was playing with the ball. Not only in grass, not only in 11 in a normal pitch, but playing football in cement or 5 against 5, or learning with their
Yeah.
friends. And that's what people doesn't do anymore, or kids say like that. They
Mhm.
now, with the cell phone and everything, you don't find these geniuses that were not fabricated. They just grew because people was playing every day on the streets. And the last of that type is Neymar, and will be Neymar because
Yeah.
his 34, it will not appear no one else like him.
Yeah. You're right. And that.
The good for Neymar was that he stayed a good time in Brazil. He even won a Libertadores with his boyhood club. Yeah, he stayed at least 3 years, like being started in the team, and he managed to win the Libertadores Cup. And after that, he stayed one year more. Why? Because for South Americans team so the Club World Cup was very
Mhm.
important. So
Mhm.
Libertadores need to play with that, and he stay one more, and therefore it's a big deal Neymar in Brazil, because people remember great game. There is a legendary game between Santos and Flamengo from Ronaldinho, 5-4. You should go check it in YouTube. I think Ronaldinho scored 3 and Neymar also scored 3. Is considered for many the best game in the history of the Brazilian First Division. And it's Neymar there against Ronaldinho. So he stayed long enough that the people know Neymar, love or hate him. Yeah. And he stayed long enough that he was developing his abilities, so he playing style in South America. Then he complement in Europe, in Barcelona.
In Barcelona, yeah, absolutely.
But it was not at 16 years old like Vinicius that came to Real Madrid and didn't finish his development, say like that.
Yeah. I get you. Sorry, I will move us along now because we can talk for ages about Brazil and their chances. Moving on to Uruguay. I watched them the other day. I went to Wembley. I watched them draw with England. I actually missed the equaliser because it was a last-minute goal. I don't really know much about you. I know they've had lots of problems and they've got a new trainer or coach, as you call them. I think because it was it Oscar Tabares for years, wasn't it?
Well, wait a moment.
For years it was, but it's not now. I don't know who the coach is, but they've got a new coach. Who's the coach?
No, it's Bielsa. No, I thought you mean
Bielsa,
they fired
yes.
Bielsa. No.
No.
It's Bielsa.
That's Bielsa. Yeah, but I think he's quite new. As in, like he came along. He didn't do the whole qualifying campaign. I don't think.
No, he did a whole qualifier. He did a whole qualifier campaign. So I mean,
right?
Yes, you know Bielsa is no, because we say him is the nickname is Loco Bielsa.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I know about Bielsa. I'm an Athletic Bilbao. I'm an Athletic Bilbao fan.
I've
true. Seen him there.
So I've
seen him at Leeds, obviously, and he was it Lazio? Sure. He was there for a few days.
No, he's still there. I mean, so they can either it depends on the team. Normally, he didn't last too long in the teams.
No, he does 2 years. 2 years. And also, he burns them out, doesn't he? The idea is that Bielsa burns you out after 2 years.
Exactly. So when I think it was in the 8th game that Peru beat Uruguay, and that was our first victory in the qualifiers, somehow we scored a goal 5 minutes before the end. Yeah. People was saying that the players let us score that goal in order that Uruguay fire Bielsa because they don't like him. Yeah. There was, and really when you watch the goal, you see some mistakes that I remember really that could be.
Really?
I mean, I understand, I don't know if that was true or not, but I understand there was not the best relationship between Bielsa and other players and some players. Now is World Cup. Uruguay cannot disappoint in the World Cup to their country. and Bielsa is a good trainer. So I
Yeah, yeah.
suppose they know Bielsa is not that young, so I cannot imagine Bielsa staying
Because
after the
he
World Cup.
was
So
he was the Chile coach in 2014, wasn't he? Was it 2014 he was Chile?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And he's done,
Yeah.
obviously, he did Argentina in the noughties. Was he Argentina? He didn't do a World Cup, though, did he? Did he do a World Cup?
No, sorry. Bielsa was the trainer in 2010.
In
And
2010,
I remember.
wasn't that Maradona? Maradona was 2010.
No, from Chile.
For Chile, sorry, for Chile, yes. So it wasn't 2014, it was 2010. Yes. I'm trying to think of, he won the Olympics of Argentina? Did he win the Olympics of
Exactly.
Argentina? With Messi and Tevez and those guys,
2004. Not Messi,
Yes,
only
that's right.
Tevez. Yeah.
Oh, it's Tevez, right? Okay, sorry, yeah. So I do, yeah. Like he's obviously. I'm just thinking he's got a lot. He has some international football experience because obviously it's difficult if you're a Bielsa and you play that style of football that he plays, the high intensity football. It's harder to do at international level because you just have the players you have, right? And you only have them for short periods of time. I'd imagine it might work better at a World Cup because obviously the squad comes together a few weeks before and you can work on that. So maybe they'll do better as a result, like better than they did in the qualifiers.
I think so. The group they must beat Saudi Arabia and Cabo Verde.
Yeah, they've got. Is it Saudi Arabia, Spain, and Cape Verde? Oh, yeah,
exactly. And Spain is the last game, so they will go through, and then I mean, if you get Uruguay have experience, they know if they play against an African team or someone without tradition in the World Cup, they have the pressure to win. Yeah. So it depends against which team they play in the knockout stage, but they will qualify for sure. Bielsa is a good trainer, and I think that the player will say, okay, now it's the same if we like or don't like Bielsa, we need to play a good World Cup. So
let's see.
Yeah, for sure they are in the second round, and after in the knockout stage, you need a bit of.
It depends on who you get, right?
A bit lucky.
Yeah,
exactly.
After Uruguay, you've then got Colombia. Now, were Colombia at the last World Cup? They missed the last World Cup, didn't they? Did they miss the last World Cup?
Yes.
Yes, but they were at 20. They were at 2018. Were they 2018?
2018. 2018, they lost against England.
Oh, they played England. They lost to England. Of course they did on penalties. Yeah, Yeremina scored in the last minute. And obviously 2014 was a really good competition for them. The James Rodriguez competition, where I'm always gutted about Radamel Falcao and the ACL injury, and that robbed him of. I think they could have maybe gone further had he been fit. With them, I watched. Do you know who I really love from Colombia? And my friends used to always laugh at me. Quintero, Juan Fernando Quintero. I love Quintero. A great player. I love that guy. He's so good. And I saw a free kick that he scored in qualifying. I think it might have been against Uruguay in that Uruguay game that I watched. I saw free kick he scored. I don't know who they have. I know they've obviously still got James. I'm not really sure who else plays for them at the moment.
To be honest, they have. I don't know exhaustively in detail all the players that they have.
Luis Diaz, obviously. Luis Diaz from Bayern Munich.
Apart from Luis Diaz and James, but they have players playing at good level in Europe. They have some players, not stars, but they have some good players. There was this guy from the Premier League, John Duran. You remember?
Yes,
Duran?
yes.
He's not going.
Oh, he went to Saudi. Didn't he go to Saudi?
Yes. And now
West
he's
Ham
in
were
Russia.
Buy him.
Yeah, now he's in Russia. But he has some problems with some players. I think he's not going to a World
He's
Cup.
one off the pitch. He's got some issues.
Exactly.
Because he was at Aston Villa. He was at Aston Villa. Did really well at Aston Villa. West Ham were going to buy him. And then there was a really weird thing where he said he wanted to go to West Ham. And then he didn't, and he fell out with Aston Villa, and then he went to Saudi Arabia for quite a bit of money, and then I didn't realise he was in Russia. He seems to have disappeared. I'd forgotten he was even Colombian. But you're right, yes, John Duran.
Yeah. And they have some. I am missing out other names, but they have some good names.
Their group is the one with Portugal, Uzbekistan, and Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah.
I mean, The first game is against Uzbekistan. They need to beat them. I mean, if you win,
Yeah.
if you win the first game, I mean, you play much
You win the
more
first game, you're
relaxed.
through pretty much, yeah.
Yes,
But
yes.
if you don't, that's the pressure. And I don't know anything. I mean, obviously Uzbekistan, I've got the guy from Man City. That's the only thing I know about them.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about them. So like, I don't know whether they're any good.
I mean, Colombia must play to win that match, and then
We have to.
Congo, it could be a surprise. I mean,
Yes.
every African country can be a surprise.
They've got some decent players.
Yes,
Congo.
exactly.
Wan-Bissaka, Chancellor Mbemba.
And they qualify over Nigeria, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, no, they knocked them out. Yes, they knocked them out in the playoffs. So they got to the playoffs. They beat Cameroon in the first game in the semi-final, and then beat Nigeria in the final. So they're a good side. They're a good side, definitely. So they have to watch out for them. Colombia will do, definitely. And then moving on, and for me, the surprise of the qualifiers for me was Ecuador. In that A, obviously they came second. B, they lost the least number of games. They conceded the least number of goals. I actually watched all of their goals, all of their games, and all of their goals earlier on YouTube, because you can go and find that stuff, right? And what made me smile was Ener Valencia is still playing for them. I think he's captain, maybe, and he scored quite a few goals in qualifying.
Yes.
But
is say like that, the prime from Ener Valencia is already some years,
8 years ago.
So I don't know if it's good signal for them.
Yeah, I know. He scored in the opening game last time, didn't he? Against Qatar.
Exactly. But I'm not wrong. I think he's now 37, 38. So
he's got to be old, yeah. Because I said he was at West Ham 10 years ago.
Exactly. Now he's in Brazil, and at least the last few months I saw he was in Brazil and was not always a starter.
Right.
But yeah, they have, so in the defense and the midfield, they have some great players, yeah. So that they will keep their probably the zero, if they manage to score some goals in the games, yeah, it will be.
So their group's another one. They've got Curacao, Germany, and Ivory Coast, I want to say.
Yes, and they start with Curacao, or not? They start with
No, they start with Ivory
Coast.
Ivory Coast, because Germany start with Curacao, yeah.
Then the second game is Curacao, and against Germany, yeah. Let's see, because the thing that I see from Ecuador is like they still, although they have played in a lot of World Cups, yeah, in the last time, they don't have tradition of qualifying to the knockout stage.
No.
They did it.
Was it only 2006? 2006 against
They did
England?
it 2006, but then in 2014 they didn't qualify, and 2022, I think that game against Senegal, after you got the 1-1, you cannot lose it. Yeah, because you remember Senegal was 1-0.
Oh, yes, of course.
Ecuador got the 1-1.
Yeah.
Ecuador didn't play that bad. That day, I would say they didn't play bad, but you cannot lose that game after you manage to get the 1-1, So it's like thing from managing the games, the experience. I mean, a lot of players from that time are still there. So that will be a very valuable experience for sure. And all depends on the first game, because I suppose they will try to score as much as possible against Curacao. Let's see how is the mentality of Germany in that very last game. Probably Ecuador only need a point to secure the qualification.
Maybe.
They will be there.
Yeah.
But I mean, Ecuador, normally they will get at least a point against Ivory Coast and then beat Curacao, and they are at least at second position, qualifying to the next.
I would expect them to beat Curacao. That's going to be an interesting one. Yeah. I think, as you say, I think the toughest game for them, obviously, is the Germany game. Ivory Coast will be a funny one. It'd be interesting. I think they're quite evenly matched against Ivory Coast potentially, and then I think it might come down to like goal difference against Curacao.
I am curious about something in general about the World Cup. And it's like, last time that we have 24 teams, so a tournament that 3 the best third from many groups qualified. It was already
94,
many
94.
30. No,
94.
94, but I am trying
Yeah.
to, that's 32 years ago. So most of the players, we're not saying all of the players didn't experience the time when we have World Cups, when 3 out of 4 teams in a group qualify. And what means that at the end in Italy 90 already they were playing, they were too much ties. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Italy 90, sorry, they still have 2 points per victory.
2 points for a
right?
win. 2 points for a
For a
win. So then
win.
you could win with, you could get through with like 2 points. You could win a game
Yeah.
and go through with 2 points.
Yeah.
And you could draw 2.
Exactly. My point is, for example, in the group from Ecuador, you have Curacao, and in the theory, all will beat Curacao. Yeah. And then you have a game between Ivory Coast and Ecuador. You know, hey, if we get 1 point, we are both through because we will beat Curacao 3-4-0, say like that. So what I was meaning is not like before. If this will be the World Cup of 32, Ecuador and Ivory Coast will
Have to go for
play
it.
almost a knockout game. Yeah, the one that wins qualify. Now it's like, why are you gonna risk if we have afterwards Curacao and we can secure the qualification from which 1 point? At that situation, you will have the same in many groups. Yeah. I am curious if they come with this mentality. Yeah, because just look at the other World Cups when they needed a tie to qualify especially in the last game, they got it. You know, USA 1994, Mexico against Italy in the last game.
Yeah, was it
they
2-2?
finished it finished 1-1. Italy
Was it 1-1? Yeah. And they both
Italy
qualified.
qualified third. Even in 1990, Argentina against Romania, Argentina qualified third, even though they knew they will play against Brazil, but they didn't want to risk the qualification against Romania. They got a point. And if you start to look to all that games, lot of games, it not make sense to risk if 1 point almost secure you the qualification.
On that, obviously in Europe we have the European Championship, which has that format now. But yeah, you don't notice it, but you make a very good point about that last game, and we definitely have seen that. As you said, Italia 90, I can remember seeing that, and the 2 points for a win probably didn't help. But it gives slow starters a chance.
I used to love. I remember I complain a lot when they put the 32 teams, but I really love this group stage because it was like a warming up. You knew.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it's a warming up for the knockout stages, and you will able. I like it. Belgium with Chief and Prudhomme, cool. I'm sure I will see them. I will see them in the knockout stage. But when you have the 32. Two teams qualifying out of 4.
Yeah.
You know, a bad day could mean you are out of the World Cup.
Germany.
Yeah, exactly.
Last but not least, the last team to look at in South America, world champions, Argentina. I think the first time I had you on, we spoke a little bit about Argentina, and I was being harsh probably on their World Cup win in 2022. They qualified quite well. I actually saw the Brazil. I remember when they beat Brazil 4-1 at home. I saw that on TV. They showed that over here. They didn't show the whole game, but they showed highlights of it because it was a big deal. They've obviously won a Copa America either side of the World Cup. I think they won one before then and one afterwards as well. So they're in good form. Obviously, Messi is older. Will Messi start? I haven't watched him enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Does Messi start?
For sure.
So he'll start, and then you've got people like Nico Paz and Lautaro Martinez, who didn't have an amazing World Cup. He had a good Copa America, didn't he? He had a very good Copa America, but didn't have an amazing World Cup.
Lautaro, yes. Lautaro was not that great in the last World Cup, but he was good
but
in the Copa America. I mean, if you compare with the previous World Cup, I will say Julian Alvarez is better than he was in the last World Cup. Lautaro
Yes, of course.
Martinez, I will say also, at least he's in the
Mhm.
same level, and he was at the same level and club, but he was not great in the tournament.
Mhm.
But apart from that, I will say that the other players are not better. Yeah, I mean they are older, but for example, Paredes came back to the Argentinian league. I think a couple of world champions too. But you don't see other players from that generation that make a breakthrough. Yeah. And from the new, there are very good prospects like Mastan Tuono and Nico Paz. But they cannot be the ones that lead Argentina in this. Can be a very good complements, but not the ones that lead Argentina.
Have they still got Otamendi at the back?
He's still there. Therefore, you cannot say Otamendi is 38, 39. It's important his experience, but I mean, Romero from Tottenham is going
Christian
to the World
Romero.
Cup.
He's injured at the moment, but they reckon he should be back in time
because they really will need him.
Lisandro Martinez from Manchester United.
Lisandro is back.
He was injured. Is he injured? Okay, I've not seen the squad. I don't know if they've announced their squad. I'm not sure if they've announced their squad yet, but I don't know. Defensively.
No, I think he's not. I think he's not injured anymore. Yeah, he's going to the World Cup. Yeah. No, he's a great defender. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they've got good players. They've got good players.
I mean, they are one of the favorites. I just wanted to point out that I don't know if they arrive better. Yeah, no. Last time they arrived after winning a Copa America already. I will not say mentally probably they arrive better, but in terms of playing, I don't think they are better than 4 years ago. Anyway, they can beat anyone, and they are one of the favorites for me.
Of course. Yeah, they will go relatively far. Do you know what I found out? Which is on a complete tangent. So I do like a prediction competition that I run every year in the World Cup. I'll tell you all about it when it gets nearer the time. As part of that, I have developed a spreadsheet that will work out who plays who and that. Do you know that if Germany come top of their group and France come top of their group, they play each other in the round of 16? And I never realized that.
Yeah, so I check it. I check it, but I thought it was quarterfinals, but probably I think it's round of 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of them.
So interestingly, on the favorite thing, you could end up with like a situation whereby two big teams knock each other out quite early, like relatively early in the competition, and then Argentina, not just Argentina, but like a Brazil or anyone else, could have a path cleared for them a little bit.
I think that's the worst thing from a bigger World Cup than before. Yeah, but we have already seen that. So when 2002, when Turkey qualified to the semifinals, so they beat Japan and Senegal. So it's qualifying to a World Cup semifinals at that time, after beating only Japan, Senegal, and in the group Costa Rica and China. Like that was a very good team from Turkey. But it's like they needed to beat one big name in order to qualify to like Croatia beat Germany in 1998. That's you say, okay, that's deserved.
The thing is, obviously, and this happens every time, especially with the best third place teams going through, is it will never work out the way you think it will do. And a seed will end up on the wrong side of the draw, or will end up going down a path that you didn't think they would do. And that's what the problem is. That's when you get two teams that play. Like the biggest one I always remember is in 2006, when France messed up their group and came second, which meant that they played Spain in the round of 16, which meant that Italy then had Australia and then Ukraine, when they should have really played France, right?
That Spanish team was already great. Yeah. There was not ready to win the World Cup, but was already great.
We're getting there, yeah.
I remember that games against Ukraine, yeah, that's true. But thing is, that was still a round of 16 game. Yeah, not round of 32.
Yeah, I know.
How it's
Oh,
called?
God.
I mean, yeah. It was, you always had one of those clashes in the round of 16 in the World Cup since it was 32, or even with 24 teams, because as I mentioned, yeah, Argentina qualified third,
Argentina,
also
Brazil.
Italy qualified third. Yeah, there was only one game. Thing was to have good quarterfinals, and I am not so optimistic that we will have more than 2 good quarterfinals. Having
No, I
2 good
agree.
quarterfinals will be already a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I worry that we won't have good quarterfinals as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah.
No,
I was checking the teams, and it's like, as I mentioned, Brazil with Neymar and all what is going around now in Brazil is like people is eager to watch the World Cup. So I would say they arrive strong, at least mentally. Argentina arrived strong as the world champions. Portugal, last time from Ronaldo, arrived strong. I don't, for me, they more than semifinals, it will be already too much for them. But are one on paper in a good day, they can beat anyone. They have a very good team.
maybe, yeah.
You have France and Spain, yeah, there.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Best
have
two there.
5 teams. In my opinion, at least, I consider Brazil also a favorite. Yeah, you have on the top France and Spain. Then I will say Argentina and Portugal and Brazil. Yeah, Brazil must be the same because it's history that have
Right.
that weighs
And
a
then-
lot. Yeah, and you got Neymar.
And then do you
and
think,
everything.
under that, is it then like Germany, England?
I was thinking. Sorry, I forgot England. England must be just because of the players and the momentum. Maybe should be in the first tier, but considering how England always managed to fail in the World Cup, put it in the second tier with Brazil, Argentina, and Portugal. And I think after that, Germany, it can beat anyone in a good day, but I see very difficult that they have a good day. Yeah, and it depends on what path they come, because if they play a good team but without history in the World Cup, they will beat them. If they play Norway in the quarterfinals, be sure that Germany will beat them. Yeah. And which other? So Germany will be third tier.
Belgium?
Yeah, I think Netherlands third.
Netherlands, yeah.
Belgium. Belgium.
Older though. They're all a bit older now.
They will not beat Netherlands or
No.
Germany in a normal day.
I think Belgium had their time. I think that whole generation of Belgian players are all a bit older now.
I think they will manage to beat all the other teams. That I say this time, considering the experience that they have last time, that many people consider as favorites. Now the team is not as good as 2018. Anyway, they still have De Bruyne, Courtois, Lukaku, Doku. So I think they will go until they play one of these big teams.
A good team.
All the other teams, even a good one, they will manage to beat. They will manage.
Yeah,
last World Cup from De Bruyne, Courtois. I think, yeah, it depends on the path, but they will qualify from the group easily. And then let's see which path they find. But it will be that I am eager to watch Belgium, that generation.
Yeah, I want to see them. I want to see them too. Considering the time, I'm gonna probably have to wrap us up, and we'll probably have to come back and do another episode.
Okay, yeah.
It's great going through sort of like your South American teams with you. I was racking my brain trying to think of some South American related trivia for you. But after how many minutes did Marco Echeverri play at the 1994 World Cup question, I couldn't think of a good enough one for you. I asked ChatGTP, And it said to me, which South American team would qualify for every World Cup? And I said, that's too easy. That's not a question. That's not the level I want. I've got one for you, but I'm not even sure if it's a right one. It said, in which World Cup did Brazil not win a single game? And I don't know if it's true though, but you can maybe tell me if it is true.
I will say 34 because they lost in the first game.
Ooh, so there you go. So that wasn't the
1934.
answer. Did they? I don't know. I didn't know they lost in 34 first game. Because obviously 34 is a knockout. It said 66, but I thought they beat Bulgaria in 66.
No, they beat Bulgaria 2-0.
Yeah,
Pelé
yeah.
scored a goal, yeah.
Pele and Garrincha scored free kicks, both of them, right?
Garrincha scored a free kick, yeah.
And didn't Pele score one as well?
Pelé scored once, yeah.
Yeah,
Pelé,
exactly. Yeah,
Pelé
yeah.
and Garrincha scored, yeah.
And then they lost to Portugal. They lost to Portugal and Hungary. That's it. Yeah.
Yes. I use ChatGPT also for. I mean, I know they do a lot of things very well, but about football trivia
It's awful.
because a lot of times I ask some stuff and say, "Hey, check your answer," and afterwards they get right.
It checks and then it says,
But
"Oh, I'm
it's
sorry,
like the
you're
first time
right."
is like, yeah, the first time they are lazy and they give you some stuff, but you need to say, hey, please check, it's all right. I think you have a mistake, and when they check, they normally notice along. But
And then it will say, "Yeah, sorry, you're right." Yeah, indeed. Well, ChatGPT got that one wrong then. Probably need to wrap up here, but it was brilliant having you on as always. We will try and get another one in, or try and get Ricky on as well. Hopefully, Ricky will come back and come back from injury, like Neymar, and hopefully make another appearance. But yeah, it's great having you on, Carlos. Do you want to tell everybody plug your I always say plug. Do you want to advertise your Instagram pages and stuff for everybody to at home to listen to and to go and look at?
Yeah, you can find me like writing World Cup Fever in Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, almost everywhere, YouTube too. I make some content nowadays with AI, so you can check.
Yeah, love those videos.
Where I'm doing there.
I do like those. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah,
well, thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, Travis, for the invitation, and yeah, so we are talking soon.
Great to have you on.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.